It is September 11, 1697. Along the banks of the Tisza River, two mighty armies stand poised for combat. The seasoned troops of the Habsburg Empire and the formidable forces of the Ottoman Empire. The battle that unfolds today will determine the fate of nations after 14 years of relentless war. The call to arms resounds across the riverbanks, and dust rises as thousands of soldiers ready themselves for the clash. The Battle of Zenta is about to begin, heralding a turning point in European history. The Ottoman Empire, once the most powerful empire in Europe, has suffered a series of devastating defeats. Their decline began at the Battle of Vienna in 1683. This was followed by significant losses at the Siege of Buda in 1686, the Battle of Mohacs in 1687, and the Battle of Slankamen in 1691. With the accession of Sultan Mustafa II to the Ottoman throne, he started determined to reverse its fortunes. His early successes, including victories against the Venetians and Austrians, bolstered Ottoman morale. In 1697, Field Marshal Eugene of Savoy took command of the Habsburg forces on the Ottoman front. Sultan Mustafa II, confident from past victories, launched his third military campaign with a massive army, reaches to 100,000 troops, reaching Belgrade in August to face Eugene's 70,000 troops. Disregarding orders to stay defensive, Eugene gathered his forces at Petrovaradin for a decisive encounter. When the Ottomans reached the Tisza River on September 10th, they started fording the river, but they were spotted while crossing. Eugene saw an opportunity to attack. He decided to attack the Ottomans while they were vulnerable, crossing the river. September 11th, after a grueling 10-hour forced march, his army arrived at the crossing by late afternoon, just as the sun was setting. Eugene observed that the Ottomans had constructed formidable defenses on both sides of the bridge. The defenses included a deep interior ditch, about 500 paces long on each side, protected by wagons, and a formidable array of around 100 guns. Beyond this, a circumvallation stretched nearly 1,000 paces towards the river, though Eugene's sudden arrival left the Ottomans with no time to complete it. Noticing that the Ottomans had left the ditches lightly defended, Eugene saw his chance. Without delay, despite the exhaustion from the march, he ordered his forces to prepare for a full-scale attack. Cavalry lined up on both flanks, infantry in the center, ready to strike the Ottoman troops, who were still vulnerable in the middle of the crossing. By this point, Sultan Mustafa II, with most of his cavalry and a part of the infantry, had crossed to the other side of the Tisza. However, the majority of the infantry, along with Grand Vizier Elmas Mehmed Pasha and the artillery, was still on the near side. The Imperial cavalry on the left flank was the first to engage, repelling an Ottoman breakout attempt. Following this, Guido Starhemberg, commanding the left, led a counterattack, but was temporarily held back by Ottoman artillery fire. The Imperial troops responded with their own artillery, creating a fierce exchange. As Starhemberg's advance momentarily stalled, the Imperial center and right flanks descended into the Ottoman trenches, engaging in brutal melee combat that steadily pushed the Ottomans back. Observing the desperate situation of his troops, Elmas Mehmed Pasha led a cavalry charge against the Imperial left flank. However, his attack was repelled, and Starhemberg's counterattack nearly reached the Ottoman bridge. Sensing the pivotal moment, Eugene dispatched reinforcements from the center to aid Starhemberg. The Imperials pressed hard toward the bridge, aiming to sever the Ottomans' sole escape route. Panic ensued as the Ottomans, realizing their escape was threatened, rushed to flee. In the chaos, artillery fire shattered the bridge, plunging the battle into utter mayhem. The scene turned into a massacre as the surrounded Ottomans, desperate to escape, tried to swim across the river, many drowning in the attempt. Amidst the turmoil, the Janissaries, seizing the moment, assassinated the Grand Vizier Omer's Mehmed Pasha, whom they despised. With their command structure in disarray, the Ottoman defense crumbled, and the Imperials mercilessly slaughtered the Ottomans. By the battle's end, the Habsburgs had achieved a decisive victory. The Imperial army suffered around 700 killed and 1,900 wounded, while the Ottoman casualties ranged between 20,000 and 30,000, with many more missing. The Ottomans also lost over 100 guns, their treasury, supplies, numerous wagons, and suffered humiliating personal losses, including the Sultan's seal and sword. Witnessing the catastrophe, Sultan Mustafa II, powerless to intervene, fled to Temeshvar and then to Istanbul. The victory at Zenta decisively shifted the balance of power in favor of the Habsburgs, marking a turning point in the conflict. The Battle of Zenta was a resounding triumph for Austria, leaving the main Ottoman army in disarray and granting the Austrians unchallenged control in Ottoman Bosnia. On October 22nd, Prince Eugene led a raid on Sarajevo, which resulted in the capture of Sarajevo. When the Ottomans killed the messengers sent to negotiate the city's surrender, the Austrians plundered and burned Sarajevo to the ground. After 14 years of conflict, the Battle of Zenta acted as a catalyst for peace. Within months, mediators from both sides began negotiations in Sremski Karlovci. The talks resulted with the signing of the Treaty of Carlowitz near Belgrade on January 26, 1699. Under the treaty, the Ottomans officially surrendered Hungary, Transylvania, and Slavonia to Austria. Poland-Lithuania gained most of Podolia and Ukraine, while Venice received portions of the Dalmatian coast and the Morea. Negotiations with Russia extended for another year, leading to the Ottoman cession of Azov to the Russians in 1700. The Treaty of Carlowitz concluded the 16-year-long Great Turkish War. However, lasting peace in early modern Europe was rare. Within 2 decades, the Ottomans defeated the Russians and recaptured Azov. As well as overcame Venice to reclaim the Morea. Despite these successes, their efforts to retake Hungary were unsuccessful.